All right, Rabbi Said, we had an amazing start to Eruvin. I want to share with you this amazing email, but first we got to get to our sponsors. Today's share is being sponsored by the Welcher family. Leon Welcher, the one who donated the app, Lilu Nishmas Avi Moiri Rebel Chanan Yosef ben Chaim Eliezer, Noila Bikletsk Lita. Most South Africans are Litvaks. Beloved father and grandfather of the Welcher family, South Africa, Chav Beis Menachem of his neshama should have an aliyah. As a matter of fact, Leon Welcher, we gave him the honors of being the first speech in our historical siyum. Let me just show you real quickly. This is the list. Over 100 different locations around the world. We have 53 locations, not people, locations in the United States. 16 in New York alone. There are 24 locations in Israel. And you have Argentina, Australia, 3 locations in Australia. Melbourne and Sydney, Belarus, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, 3 locations. Toronto, Montreal, France. Bekitzer, and the UK, Sweden, Stockholm. We have Stephen Samperl from Sweden, from Stockholm. Spain, Turkey. Unbelievable. Mexico, Italy. Bekitzer, so that's our siyum, and we are having many speeches from each location, one little speech, like a minute long. We have over 90 speeches. So you're going to have to bear with us. The first one, I shouldn't have given that away. The first one, Leon Welcher. But we have Rabbi Sachar Franz speaking for 10 minutes. We have Charlie Harari for more than 15 minutes. So it's going to be a beautiful program. But leading us off, Leon Welcher, for his dedication to the shir, for every single day being on that app and enhancing the app, and he's coming out with the new app, Be'ezer Hashem, very soon, maybe even for the siyum. Next sponsor, sponsored by Mayor Planka, wishing Mazel Tov to Reb Eli and the entire MDY family on being Messiah Masechtas Shabbos. In honor of my wife Riva and Atzlacha, for my brother Avi and his family, we're making Aliyah today. Is that you, Avi? Is that going to Mereshet? Somebody else? You're talking about somebody else that's making Aliyah today. For information, my father-in-law is Alan Rabinowitz, who just spent the past little while sitting in the Beis Medrash. Right? Alan is also making Aliyah soon from Toronto, and he sat in the Beis Medrash. Today's Shkoyach, Mayor Planka. Today's learning sponsored by Kalman of the 5 Towns. We all know who that is. For Refuah Shlema recovery of Liora Bat Sarah. Liora Bat Sarah should have a Refuah Shlema. I got to share with this crazy, beautiful email. Listen to this. Dear Rebelli, dear Yosef, and everyone involved, my name is Mordechai Binyamin Mickey Barth. I'm the son of Eliezer, Gene Barth, who has joined your shir and enjoys it very much. I want to thank you very much for your great work. I'm living in Israel, made yesterday evening a siyum on Masechtas Shabbos in our street minyan. But the more important thing is that I was joined via video by my father in Switzerland, who, thanks to your shir, has finished his first Masechta ever at the age of 84. 84 years old! Mazel Tov, tremendous. Rebbe Eliezer from Switzerland. Now, we're from Switzerland. The Stefanskys are from Switzerland. He probably knows my family over there. A Landsman. This joint Simcha added another level of joy, Bahatzlacha, in the continuation of your shiurim. You know, the famous Gemara in Avodah Zarah, 3 times Rebbe says over there, Yesh, Koino, Yilam, B'Sha'achas. Doesn't matter when you start, as long as you end on the right foot, as long as you're learning while you go. So it doesn't matter. 84, we had somebody that was 92 that just started learning the daf, 92 years old. So he's 84, made a siyum. To make a siyum is huge. Real quickly, I just want to dispel some of these. This happened two emails in one day, so I want to address it real quickly. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's very long. That's one. And it says like this. This is from our friend Shlomi Sofer, who sponsored yesterday. And he wants to say that because he sponsored, he went to visit his friend that has cancer and COVID and was dying to get, well, not dying. He was trying to get out of, He's trying to get out of the hospital for his son's chasana the next day. And because he believes, because he made a donation to the shir, the guy was able to get out of the hospital. And he says, Ein zgula ka Torah. Here's another one we got yesterday. Thank you for your generous offer of reducing the cost of the daily sponsorship from $250 to $180. There's a deal going on. There's a coupon. However, I'll need to decline the offer and increase the donation to $1,000. Please give me a moment to explain. I donated $250 a month ago, not for any specific purpose. As Ravelli mentioned, that it's a huge opportunity to increase the blessing of one's life to donate to such a worthy cause. I figured I would give a chance, as I felt Hashem has already blessed my family so much. I'll not go into details of all the amazing miracles that have occurred to my family since the donation, as all the blessings increase and remains hidden. However, as all blessings increase if it remains hidden. And that's why this email is anonymous. I did not make it up. You could ask Yosef about it. I don't know who this person is. It's not Kalman from the 5 towns, although I thought so, but it's not. However, I wanted to share at the minimum that Hashem paid me back thousands of times over. So if you donated 250 and it's thousands of times over, you do the math. For this reason, I would not want to reduce the blessing by taking your offer of reduced cost of sponsorship. May this sponsorship be a merit of the entire team that makes the best share I've ever attended. Just keep up the good work. Shkoyach. So I just want to say real quickly, I am not a Baal Moifes. I'm a simple balabas that does real estate. And even if I was, I wouldn't tell you because I'm Litvish. I'm not allowed to tell you. I can't do Moifsim. But there is Schus HaTorah. There is a concept of supporting Torah. We have a koilo, we have a big operation, over $10,000 a month just to unlock the MDY Beis Medrash. Plus we have a bunch of stuff in the Beis Medrash that needs to be completed, etc. So it's a tremendous cause. So you should call for all those that sponsor. And now let's jump into Daf Gimel. We're holding the last words on Daf Beis, Amud Beis. And we were discussing what is the reason that if a mavui, it's an alleyway that's in front of your courtyard, which is in front of your house, the alleyway midiraisa, you're permitted to carry, be metaltal on Shabbos in the alleyway, in the mavui. So why did Chachamim say that you have to make a kaira, you have to put a cross beam, horizontal beam, or a lechi, a vertical beam, to differentiate between your mavui and the Rosh Hashanah that you're about to walk into? You shouldn't confuse the two. Chachamim say that if it's above 20 amos, you must reduce it. Where did they get it from? So Rav says they got it from the Heichal. The Heichal, the opening door in Beis Hamikdash, was 20 amos tall, and the Torah uses the word Pesach. Great. Says the Gemara, Elomiato loitihanile amaltra. Amaltra. So, as you know, there's a kid on Zoom every single day. He made a siyum with us. His name is Akiva Solway. He made a siyum on brachas, and he spoke by the siyum. And he also made a siyum on Masechtas Shabbos. And he knocked on my door last night. And he delivered this little thing here. Let me show you. You got to turn it on. He made a mavui. It's not just any mavui. This is a mavui with an amaltra. See what's going on here? It's a kaira that's extremely noticeable. It has flashing lights. Now, the Gemara is not talking about flashing lights. Anything that will make it noticeable. Shkoyach Akiva. But the Gemara's question is, we're going to see in a second, here he is on top of my screen. Wow, every single day. Yesterday, listen, he's a great kid, but I do have to give him mussar in front of everybody. Because of him, he messed me up completely. He's the one that told his mother that we're doing a siyum on Sunday. My wife had no idea, and she booked this whole vacation, and then my wife found out about it. He literally ruined the whole thing. I thought I was going to be able to sneak the siyum in without my wife knowing. Great. Also, yesterday, after Shir, come on, Akiva, after Shir, he tells me, how come you don't say Pitik or Yair V'Soisim? What? You're 12 years old. You're not supposed to be asking these kind of questions. But whatever. We'll talk about that later. Please don't embarrass me again after Shir and ask me these kind of questions. Says the Gemara, Elameata. So this amaltra shouldn't work. These fancy, noticeable kairos should not work. The ha'heichal amaltra haveloi. Because the heichal had an amaltra. It had something fancy, noticeable. And you can't go past the heichal. This nan, chamesh amaltra shel mela, hayu al gabav. So, this is what it looked like, sort of. You see those 5 strips right over here. Each one, this one, the first one is 1 amma extended from the doorway. This one is 1 amma extended in each direction, etc. It keeps saying it extends by 2 ammas each one. Okay. So that's an amaltra. That's something that visually, when you're walking, you notice it. Zulu malam zu, zulu malam zu. Now the Gemara just jumps in for a second. Stop, wait, time out. Let me see if this works. Who told you? Look, this doorway, there's 2 doors here. If you notice, there's a blue outline. That's that of the ulam. Then there's the red one inside. That's the smaller doorway of the heichal. This picture actually shows amalturais, the pieces of wood on top of the ulam. Doesn't show any amalturais on top of the red door. And that's what we're discussing. We're discussing the 20 amud door, not the 40 amud door of the ulam. Says the Gemara, maybe it's the larger door. Dilma. So over here, Dilma is not so much Dilma. Dilma means maybe. Over here it means it is. Tavnis heichal, tavnis ulam. Well, they're both the same. They're identical in the way they look. They're just different sizes. So whatever the ulam has, the heichal has, and if the ulam has amal turois, 5 strips of wood, so does the heichal. Alma Omar. So now, here comes the question. We just stopped for a second to explain that they're the same. Alma Omar Rabbi Eli Omar Rav. So why does Rav say? And this is the question of Rav. Rav is the author of this pshat of the Gemara that we had yesterday, that Rabbanan learned the 20 amos from the heichal. So this Rav, he himself says, Omar Rav, Rechav Arba, if a kaira. What's a kaira? Here, picture again, in case we forgot what it looks like. This beam that goes across the entire mavui. So if this beam, let's see if I can find it because it's later on in the sugya, but if a beam cannot hold a brick, a half a brick, but since it's 4 tfachim wide, even though it's extremely thin, like this little strip of wood, but it's 4 tfachim wide, not like it says over here, tefach. That's a different sugya. That's somewhere else. That's Yoni's depiction. By the way, if somebody's concerned, I have permission from every single picture I use. Even I have permission from the art scroll, which was hard to get. Certainly from Yoni and from the Mesifta, from all those other places. Don't worry about it. Even though it cannot hold this brick, but it has 4 tfachim. And here's the halach that we're looking for. Vim yesh lo amaltera, if it has flashing lights, so to speak. Afilu gvoy yoytzim esrim amo ain't tzarich l'mayit. Rav himself says that a maltra that's above 20 amas, you don't have to take it down. But Rav is the one that says that we learn 20 amas from the heichal. And the heichal is 20 amas with a maltra that didn't go higher than that. Why not? Why didn't the heichal go to 40? Because you can't go more than 20. People are not going to, even though it has an amaltra. How do I know it has an amaltra? Because the ulam has an amaltra. And the heichal and the ulam are the same. Omer Rav Yosef, amaltra masnisahi. Forget about Rav. Rav is maybe a Tana. He's the last Tana. He's really an Amoira. But there's a Braisa from Tanaim that say this. So scratch Rav. His name doesn't even appear in that sentence. It's not Omar Rav, it's Omar Braisa. Says the Gemara, okay, but you didn't gain anything. So let's say you take his name out. We still have a Braisa that's against what Rav says. Rav says the Chachamim learn it, Rabbanan learn it from the Heichal, which is a maximum 20 amas. Here's a Braisa that says I could go higher than 20 amas. I have an amaltra. Says the Gemara, Man katonila. And who's the author of this Braisa? Let me see if it's a good Braisa at all. Can I use it? It's a great Braisa. It doesn't have any problems in it. It's not meshubash. It's good. But at the end of the day, I have a question on Rav. How does Rav say you stop at 20 amas when the Braisa says that if you have an amaltra, and in the Heichal I do have an amaltra, I go higher than 20 amas? Amalach Rav. Dalan Omahacha. What do you want? Why are you picking on me? Remove me from this story. I'm not even here. I don't exist. So what do you, if I don't exist, Rav, so what do you have a contradiction in Brises. You have the Brises that we had yesterday that mentions the word Heichal. It says, if a Mavui is 20 Amas like the height of a Heichal, so it mentions the word Heichal. That's where Rav got his whole idea from that Brise. And then there's another Brise that says that if you have an Amaltra, 5 strips of wood, or we'll see another Shita soon, a depiction of a nest, I could go even higher than 20 Amas. So why is Rav stuck at 20? Why is the Brise stuck at 20? We have a contradiction in the Brises. Masnisa, Milakashi and Adadi, isn't there a contradiction? What are you going to say? Tanoi. At the end of the day, it's Machloikis Tanoi. Look at the Dinami Tanoi. So why are you picking on me? I'm going with one of the Tanoim. Don't ask me questions from another Tana. We have a Tana against a Tana. I'm fine. I could go with one of the other Tanoim. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchok says, and I mentioned this yesterday, Beloy Rav Masniyasa Hadodi Loy Kasha. Even without Rav, I don't have a stira between the two Brises. Why? L'Rabbanon Kaira Taimamai. Let's understand. Why does a person put this beam? What does it mean? Rabbanon said, do not walk in a mavui unless you make some sort of beam. And what does the beam do? It's not hocus pocus. The beam acts as a hekera. It's something that you notice. And if you notice it, you realize, hey, stop. It's like a sign that says, you're exiting the mavui. Careful. Make sure you don't have anything in your pockets. You're going into a Rishus Rabbim. Look, even if you look at this picture, see down here? There's lanes going on here. This is a Rishus Rabbim that's black right over here. You're walking directly from your house in the Rishus Rabbim, like we do today. If it's a Rishus Rabbim, pretend your streets are Rishus Rabbim. You live on Ocean Parkway. You're going in from your house into so be careful. There's a nice kaira. There's a nice lechi. There's something that tells you stop. So mishum kaira, tamimai mishum kaira, and therefore what? So if I have an kaira, I have flashing lights. I have beautiful wood. So I can go up to 30 amas, 40 amas. What's the difference? Whatever catches my attention. So typically, what will catch my attention is a plain blank piece of wood up to 20 amas. But if I add something nice to it, I do Akiva Solway's thing, then I can go even higher than that. Oh, but what about the Brisa that says stop at 20? Heichal. I wanted to tell you what the shear is. Typically the shear is 20 amas. What do you know that's 20 amas? We all know the Beis Hamikdash. We live in Yerushalayim. We're Jews. We're Oila Regal every 3 times a year. We're very familiar with the Heichal. We know it's, wow, look at that door. It's 20 amas tall. So I tell you, it's like the Heichal. But listen, I'm not limiting you to the Heichal. I'm just giving you something to remember. A siman. In those days, everything is about past. How do I remember 20? Maybe it's 30. I tell you Heichal, and then, oh yeah, Heichal 20. But if you have something flashing lights, wood, nests, whatever it is, go higher than 20. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchok, Hanichi lo Yisraeli hadirabba. Yisraeli hadirabba. So the Gemara says, well, wait a minute. In Masechta Sukkah, we have the same exact logic as Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchok. One Tana tells me that the reason why a Sukkah cannot be taller than 20 amas, same Mishnah like we have over here, is because of the heker. You have to realize that you're in a sukkah. And then the question will be, then why do I need another Mishnah by Mavui? It's the same idea, it's the same concept. Why do you have to repeat yourself? Ask the Gemara. If Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchok is right, that by Mavui the idea is that you have to recognize that you're leaving the Mavui, that's the same idea that we have by sukkah. Why the reputation? The Omar Rabbo Ksiv L'man Yedu Deresechem. That's one of many pshatim over there, right? There's different pshatim. One of them is L'man Yedu Deresechem Ki V'Sukkah Seishafti. You need to know. Ad Eser Mama Odem Yideh Shedaber Sukkah. When you're in a sukkah that's lower than 20 amas, 40 feet almost, you recognize. But if you're in a sukkah that's more than 40 feet tall, you don't even realize. You think you're in the street. You're not paying attention that you're in a sukkah. You forget the mitzvah. His eye doesn't reach the 20 amas. Alma gabi sukkah nami bekeri pli. So Rabbi is saying that the pshat over there is hekera. Recognize that you're in a sukkah. So then why do I need the same exact machlokes twice in Shas? It's Gemara tzricha, typical tzrichusa. Yashmin gabi sukkah ba'akam Rabbi Yehuda. If we would only say that halacha by sukkah, I would say over there Rabbi Yehuda says that you could go higher than 20. What does a person do in a sukkah? He sits around. He sits around, he has plenty of time to realize, oh, where am I? Oh, he starts looking at the decorations, and finally he reaches the schach and he realizes he's in a sukkah. But a person is just walking by the mavui. What does a person do? He's running right through. He's trying to get somewhere. So he doesn't have time to pay attention to see that there's a kaira that tells him, stop, don't go. Maybe in that case, Rabbi Yehuda will agree that you cannot go above 20 because it's hard to recognize. And if we just say the halacha in our Masechta, just by kaira, maybe in that Rabbanan will agree to Rabbi Yehuda that's okay because a person sits around in a sukkah and he'll realize, and even higher than 20 is okay. Tzricha. My amaltra. Now the Gemara is just going back. What is this amaltra? It's not flashing lights. Interesting. In the Beis Hamikdash, they had a piece of wood above the heichal, and it had pictures of nests of a bird. Interesting. So when I go to the Beis Hamikdash, right away my eyes like, what's going on here? There's nests, so I notice it. Okay, it's noticeable, and I'll take that same thing and I'll bring it to Mavui. If I put a depiction of nests on my kaira, then I could go even higher up than 20 amas. No, it's these pieces of wood that we showed before. This is what they had, these 5 pieces, and therefore if I bring that to a mavui, it's going to look something like, well, a mavui is wide open. So where do you put these pieces of wood? So they depict it like this, on this side wall, right over here. It extends, and you see a bunch of wood, and what is going on there? That's a very interesting design, and then, it's trying to tell me, don't leave the mavui on Shabbos with anything in your hands. Well, it's not so noticeable, these 5 pieces of wood, but if I put funny looking nests at the entrance of my mavui, I'll definitely realize that. And the mandoma that says it has to look like a nest, you're not going to get away with just putting flat pieces of wood up there. Why does this work? Because these are long pieces of wood. Says the Gemara of a sukkah and the nafesh mashchei. But the sukkah, forget it, the pieces of wood. The whole schach is huge. It has to be at least 7 tefachim by 7 tefachim, but most people have nice big sukkahs. You're going to recognize a piece of wood in the middle of the street, but you're not going to recognize your schach. You're not going to notice your schach. Rabbanan says sukkah that's above 20 amas is possible. These pieces of wood is so chashiv, is some exotic, African, mahogany, whatever, so people notice it. It has a code, people talk about it. You heard what they bought for the mavui? It cost them an arm and a leg. And everybody, as they walk out, they point up there and they say, okay, that's it. Says the Gemara, what about a case when I have a kaira? We'll just take this mavui. It's kind of, sorry, Akiva, it's falling apart on me. This kaira, this horizontal beam from side to side at the entrance of the mavui, what if it extends above 20 amas, but it's also below 20 amas? The fact that it extends above 20 amas, does it ruin anything? And let's take the same exact case by a sukkah. What if I have thick schach? Part of it is above 20, part of it is below. Believe it or not, we're going to have all 4 possibilities, 4 shitas. One sheet is going to tell us that a mavui like that is pasul, but a sukkah is kosher. The other sheet is going to tell us that a sukkah is pasul, but a mavui is kosher. And the third sheet is going to say both of them are kosher, and the fourth one, both of them are pasul, or the reverse. The third one is both of them are pasul, fourth, both of them are kosher. All possibilities. Very simple though. Says the Gemara, this beam extends above and below the 20 amma line. Same shaila by schach. Omer Rabba. So one we have Rabba says it one way, and then somebody else says no. Rabbi said the exact opposite. Omer Rabba mavi kosher v'sukkah pasul. A mavi is different than a sukkah. A mavi it's kosher. Maishna, why? Maishna mavi the kosher. The meaning koloish. So there's a concept called koloish here. We didn't have this in Shas yet, and we're not going to have it. It's not such a common term. Koloish You could ask your friends that don't learn Daf Yomi, you know what kloish is? If they say no, you say, so you got to come to the shir, you got to come. Kloish means just pretend you cut it away. Get rid of the excess, the unnecessary part of the kaira. Get rid of it theoretically, halachically. Just ignore it. So what do you have? If you're going to ignore everything above 20 amas, then you have a nice kaira that's below 20 amas. That works in a mavui. Oh, so then why doesn't it work in a sukkah? I'm reading the kloish. Sukkah nami lemi kloish. Get rid of all the bad schach that's above 20 amas. Says Gemara, that doesn't work because now you're going to be left with schach that doesn't give shade, and you need to give shade, provide shade. It only provides shade with the upper layer. So Gemara, then you have the same problem with a kaira. You're going to cut your kaira in half. Now you're going to have a weakling, and this weak kaira is going to fly away in the wind. Fly away in the wind, kaira, no good. So even if you're going to take away half of your kaira, you're halachically going to pretend that it's a piece of steel. It's solid. Okay, so halachically pretend that your schach is solid, that it's tzilas and merubim v'chamasa. Oh, says the Gemara, I'll tell you pshat. Amar Rava from Perzakya. Says Rava from Perzakya. Sukkah, one day I was bored and I went through the entire Shas, seeing how many different Ravas there are. And I think I came up with 52 Ravas. Here's one of them. Rava mi Perzakya. Sukkah de liyachadi loy matker. Sukkah, which is, and I wrote them all down. I have the list behind me if anybody wants to see it one day. Sukkah de liyachadi loy matker. A sukkah that's for individuals don't realize everything. They don't recognize everything. So, therefore, I say, puzzle. There's so many people, everybody's going to remind each other, don't walk, be careful. And the Gemara says, Ravina Amar, Sukkah de Oiraiso, Achmiru ba Rabbanan. In 1 minute, Ravina is going to say the exact opposite when we flip around Rabbi Shita. But now he says, since it's a Doiraiso, I got to be careful. I have to give you guidelines. I have to make Gdarim. But a Mavoi, what's the worst? Worst comes to worst, you're going to carry in your Mavoi without a Kaira. No. It's mutter to carry in a Mavoi mid-Doiraisa. It's you, Rabbanan, that instituted it. So they didn't care. They didn't make such chumras on it. Now, so that's Rabbah saying that a Mavoi is kosher and a Sukkah is possible. Now we're going to say the opposite. If I have a Kaira that extends into 20 amas and extends below 20 amas, Omer Rabbah b'Mavoi pasul. Exact opposite. Mavoi is pasul, says Rabbah. B'Sukkah kshera. It's kosher. Ma'ishna Sukkah the kshera. Now we're going to have the same conversation again, just in the reverse. Ma'ishna the Sukkah the kshera. Damrin kloish. Why is the Sukkah kosher? Because all the pasul schach above 20 amas, kloish. Cut it away, get rid of it in your mind, pretend it's not there. B'Mavoi nami lema kloish. So say on a kaira, the part above 20 is gone. Says Gemara, Kasha, hello. Kaira tells Baruch, if you're going to get rid of half of it, it's going to blow away in the wind. If you're going to get rid of half the schach, you're not going to have enough shade. Halachically, you're going to create cell. You're going to use the upper part and combine it. So you're going to combine the upper part with the bottom part and make it a strong, nice beam. Here comes one of the 52 Ravas. Sukkah de liyachadi, Ravin Avsheyu Matkir. Since a Sukkah, the exact opposite now. Since he is responsible for himself, it's his own Sukkah, he'll constantly remind himself. Mavoi de l'Rabim. I have a picture here. Since a Mavoi is for the public, you have many chefs. What happens when you have many chefs wearing 8-minute daf hats? Here's a kaira. I didn't want to make it political and put names there and stuff. Whatever. Just chefs, you ruined the broth. It's taken from the Gemara. Here. People say, Kdeira, soup, a pot, the Beishutvei, that have too many chefs, will never be hot enough or cold enough. Everybody relies on the other person, they mess it up. Says the Gemara, Eruvin Omar, Sukkah d'Oraisa le'bo yichizuk. Now Eruvin is reversing his svara completely, and he says, listen, the D'Oraisa doesn't need any help from Rabbanan. Everybody's scared of the D'Oraisa. You hear, unfortunately, people say, it's just the Rabbanan. So the Raisa doesn't need chizuk. Mavi the Rabbanan, by chizuk. My Allah. What's the end of the day? Is Mavi Pasal and Sukkah kosher? Or is Sukkah Pasal and Mavi kosher? Which one is it? So the Gemara helps us out a lot. And the Gemara says, Rabbi Barula Amar Zev Zev Pasal. They're both Pasal. Rabbi Amar Zev Zev kosher. I love when the Gemara does it. What's the halacha? And then you confuse us even more. First we said one is Pasal, one is kosher, and one is Pasal, the other one is kosher. And now both are Pasal. No, both are kosher. But the bottom line is, we passing like Rava, they're both kosher. And now we just turn to Daf Gimel and Beis, sponsored by Shia Greenfield from Green Star Electrical Contracting. Oh, I forgot to say. Lilu Nishmas Imi Mirosi Rusbas Mordechai. I have to get used to it. Chalal Suketnan. Chalal Movitnan. Says the Gemara, we don't care if the Kaira extends above 20, if the Schach extends above 20. What we care about is where's the ceiling. The ceiling must be within 20. If I have the ceiling exactly at 20, I'm great. What happens above that? The Kaira is more than 20, 25, who cares? The point is that my ceiling, within the Sukkah, within the Mavi, I'm within 20. Papa, the Rava, I have a Tana that says exactly like you. We had this brisa yesterday. If the Mavi is higher than 20 Amma, and the brisa explains to us, more than the doorway of the Heichal, which is 20, you might. But think about it. The ceiling of the Heichal was 20. The doorway of the Heichal never extended below the 20. It was exactly at 20. That tells me that as long as my ceiling is 20, if I take a measuring tape and I go from the bottom of my ceiling to the floor and I have 20, I'm good. What happens above that? The Kaira is above that, that's fine. Not a problem. So by a Kaira and by a Sukkah, Zev is kosher. You know, in Yeshiva we used to say Rav Simi. But since our school came around, they ruined it for everybody. They're probably right, because it's like Shimon, it's a nickname. Rav Shimi bar Rav Ashi l'Rav Papa. This is a very big problem. A real big problem to get out of, because the Brisa says that the Kaira is below the 20 line. Kaira misfas esrim ulemato. Says the Gemara, Ema ulemala. Woo! Everybody loves when the Gemara does this. But over here the Gemara has a good reason. The word lamat has to be changed to lamala. But what's really going on here, says the Gemara, is that there's a comma. Kaira misvas esrim comma. Ulamata is a whole other different halacha, talking about lamata, really talking about something that's below, meaning ema ulamala. In fact, I have to say that the kaira is above the ceiling line of 20 amas. Don't bring me a raya from here that the kaira has to be below. So what is the word lamata? Says Gemara, why are you telling me an exact opposite word? It says lamata, and you're telling me it says lamalo. How does that make sense? Says the Gemara, hakamashmala. It's actually talking about another halacha completely. The lamato ke lamalo. Now what? If you put a kaira in your mavoi, it has to be at least 10 tfachim above the ground, right? Sukkah also has this halach of 10 tfachim. That's what the Bryce is telling me. That the upper one and the lower one have the same halacha. I cannot extend my kaira below 10. Don't go below 10. Just like the kaira above goes right above the 20, so too the kaira goes right above the 10. Now, a whole sugya until the end of the Amud. How much is an amma? This could be a shas sugya. It is a shas sugya. What is an amma? We said that a mavoi can only be, according to the Tanakama, 20 amas high. When you put the kaira, 20 amas. Above 20, you got to bring it below. But what's an amma? There are two types of amma, says the Gemara, right now. There's an amma made out of 5 tfachim. There's a tefach, like a fist, 5 of these, or 6 of these. And we're always going to use the one that makes our life more difficult. L'chumra. So how does it work? Says the Gemara, Omar Abayi Mishmei Rav Nachman, Amas Sukkah, V'amas Mavoi, Ba'ama Bas Chamisha. When I'm talking about a Sukkah and a Mavoi, I'm always going to be talking about the 5 tefach Amma. The Gemara is going to say, well, in certain cases it's 6, when it's a L'chumra. Right now, when it comes to Sukkah and a Mavoi, 5. So, a mavui, how many tfachim is a mavui? Up to 20 amas times 5, 100 tfachim. Amas kilayim ba'amo bas shisha. We're going to go into a beautiful sugya, easy sugya of kilayim pretty soon. But when it comes to kilayim, the chumrah, what makes your life more difficult is going to be 6 amas. 6 tfachim per amma. Amas mavui ba'amo bas chamisha l'mayilchas. For instance, when it comes to sukkah, what are you talking about? Legavoi, legoiva, legavhoi. In other words, the 20 amma limit for a sukkah and a mavui is an amma of 5 tfachim. The limit is 100 tfachim. Think about it. If an amma is 6 tfachim, so 6 times 20 is how much? 120. So if I allow you to go all the way to 120 tfachim, that's a kula. That makes your life easier. That means you can make a much taller sukkah. You could put a kaira much higher up. I'm going to be machmer on you. I'm saying use an amma that's only 5 tvachim. Your limit is 100. Okay, if you put a number to it, it makes more sense. Ulapirtzas mavui. If a mavui has a big gap in it, a breach, how much is the breach? 10 amos. Again, so if it has a breach, it's no good, this mavui. How much is the breach? The smaller amount. 10 amos times 5, 50 tfachim. I could have gone with 10 times 6, 60 tfachim, and say that your gap could be even larger and it's still a kosher mavui. No, I'm going to make your life miserable. I'm going to say 50, the smaller one. I'm being machmer on you, the smaller amount. Great. Ask the Gemara, but I found a case that this doesn't work in sukkah. But what about that a mavui must be at least 4 amos in order to make it kosher? If it's less than 4 amos, it's not a mavui. You can't make it kosher. Okay, so now I have to go all the way to 4 amos. 4 times 5, 20. I can make a mavui kosher when it's the smaller share of 20 versus 24. I don't have to go all the way to 24 tvachim in order to be machshir my. I can have a small mavui. I can have a baby mavui, a small one that's only 20 tvachim, and still make it kosher. That's a kula. Says the Gemara, Kimando Omar ba'arbot tvachim. Okay, so I must say that a mavui is kosher in a tiny, tiny mavui that's only 4 tvachim wide. The size of my Gemara here, 4 tvachim, even less. No, you know what? I'll roll with you that a mavui has to be at least 4 amos, which is 20 tvachim, you said? No. We're going to have to say, in this case, use the 6 tvachim measuring stick. So it's actually 24 tvachim. I want to be machmer on you. So to be machmer on you, I have to switch it out of the regular 5 tvachim measuring stick to a 6 tvachim measuring stick. But you just told me that when it comes to sukkah, I always use the 5. What I meant to say is, most of the time, 2 out of 3, I use the 5. 1 out of the 3, I use the 6. I'm a sukkah, but I'm a bas chamish sorry. I'm talking about, most of the time, I use the 5 tfachim. Same sugi again when it comes to sukkah. I'm a sukkah, but I'm a bas chamish So, once again, instead of a sukkah being kosher up until 120 tfachim, I'm going to make it possible at 100. What's a doif and akuma? We're not learning sukkah now, but real briefly, if I have a skylight in the middle of my ceiling, so typically, if I have a puzzle gap here, I put metal kindness, I bought puzzle schach, 3 tfachim makes a puzzle. But over here, there's a special halacha called doif and akuma, that I pretend that this ceiling is part of my wall. It's just a crooked wall that goes like this. Halacha Moshe Sinai. Nobody made this up. It's not Rabban. This came from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Moshe Rabbeinu at Sinai. Doifen akuma. Up until 4 amos. 4 amos, 8 feet. I could have a skylight in the middle and my sukkah is still kosher. So all those people in Muncie, whatever, that have sukkahs in the living room, kosher. Because of the doifen akuma, as long as it's within 8 feet to the center. Vayika. So Mela, over there, I'm machmer and I say, use the smaller measuring stick. If you use the larger one, it's already possible. Says the Gemara, same question that we had before. There's a madama that says sukkah has to be at least 4 amas, meaning even 20 tvachim, the sukkah is kosher. I don't have to go to 24 to make it kosher. Even the smaller sukkah is kosher. That's a kula. The Zanya Rabbi Omer, Ani, kol sukkah shem bar Abrahamo, it's al Abrahamo, it's psulo. Says the Gemara Karabanon. The Amra Filayim Machzek is el Rosh Eruvin. Same answer we had before. You're right. This cannot go according to Rebbe. This goes according to Rabbanon. That a sukkah can be very small as long as it holds your head and most of your body and your table. It could go according to Rebbe that you need 4 amas. And when it comes to 4 amas, I'm going to use the larger measuring stick. In order to make a sukkah kosher, I cannot get away with 20 tvachim. I need 24 tvachim because I'm using a 6 tefach measuring stick. And I'm talking 2 out of 3 cases, I'm using the smaller measuring stick. Amas kilayim ba'ama ba'shisha l'may hilchasa. Oh, small sugya ba'klayim, givaldik stuff. Don't look at your pictures and get all confused. Very, very simple stuff. The halacha is, you're not permitted to plant wheat or any vegetable together with grapes in your vineyard. Now it has to be a vineyard. It has to have nice vines growing. There has to be gaps. Every 4 amas, a gap. Okay? You can't just cluster all your vines together. They have to look nicely. You see? Like these rows. I made them this later for the next sugya. Now, very pashut. Let's say I want to plant. I have a vineyard and I have a karachas. Karachas means bald. I have a bald spot smack in the middle of my vineyard. Right over here, brown and white. This is my karachas. Now, I cannot plant 4 amas next to my vineyard because my vineyard is going to swallow that up. It's going to grab it. So I have to extend away from it 4 amas. Why? Time out. Not because it's going to grab it, but I need room for my tractor. I need room for my horse and buggy to get around. So 4 amas is gone, depicted in white. Now, since this is in the center of a vineyard, I have vines here and vines here. I lost 8 amas. 4 for this side, 4 for this side. Now, the center, say Beis Hillel, needs to be another 8 amas. Why? Because if I divide it in half, I don't want the vineyard to grab my sada. It's going to grab it, swallow it up, be mevatel it. So I want to give it something chashav. What's chashav? Say Beis Hillel, 4 amas. But each side is going to get swallowed up. So it has to be 8 amas. So 8 amas plus 4 for the tractor and 4 for the tractor, that's a total of 16. Beis Shammai say the center needs to be 16 amas. Chashav is 8. So I need 2 times 8, that's 16. 16 plus 4 and 4, 24. Let's see inside. Now that's only if the vineyard is on both sides. But what if this is a gate? Then I have nothing grabbing over here. I don't need another tractor. So it's the same thing, just in half. It's room for the tractor, and I need 8 tfachim, 8 amos, to have something chashuv so it doesn't swallow it up. So let's see inside. Amas kalayim. What does it mean, the amma of kalayim? So, and over there, it makes more sense to go with the larger amount, the 6 tfachim, because that means that I have to distance. In order for me to plant, I have to use more tfachim up. So that's the chumrah to use a larger amount. Amas kalayim ba'amo bas shisha l'mayilchaso likarachas hakerem v'limchol hakerem. This not. Karachas hakerem. B'shamay yormim esrim v'arba amos. You need 24 amos. Ubeis Hillel yormim 16 amos. U'mechol hakerem, if it's up against the gate, b'shamay yormim 16 amos. Ubeis Hillel yormim 12 amos. So now, if you take the 16 that Beis Hillel say, you need 16 amos. 16 times 5 is how much? 80. 16 times 6, 96. So you go with the chumrah. You say you need at least 96 tfachim in order to plant there. That's the chumrah. That's why I'm using the 6. Ezi karachas hakerem, kerim shecharem tzisoy. Says the Gemara. What does it mean? The center is destroyed, desolate, and I want to plant there. Ein sham 16 amos. If it doesn't have 16 amos, lo yavi zerer sham. You can't plant. Hoy sham 16 amos. But if I do have 16 amos, nice and like it, I give it enough room to move around with my tractor, with my horse and buggy. That's 4, and 4, that's 8. And the rest I plant. How much do I need for the rest? 8. And what does the other one mean? Ooh, where's that one? Unprinted. Okay. What does it mean? Same idea though. It's up against the gate though. You don't have a vineyard on both sides. Bein kerem legader, there's a fence. In bein sham 12 amo. Now you need much less. You need only 12 because you're missing the gap, the other road for the other tractor. Ein sham 12 amo lo yovi zer l'sham. You can't plant. Oy sham 12 amo noisim like the. You give it a little room to maneuver your ox. V'zirei ashar. Ask the Gemara. But at the end of the day, if everything is bunched together, the whole vineyard is bunched together, then if I'm using a larger ruler, that comes out of kula. That what? This not. If you don't have between vine and vine, you don't have the 4 amma distance, it's not planted evenly, 4 ammas, and everything's bunched together, then it's not a vineyard. Why? I can't get my ox in there. So it's not also for me to plant vegetables and wheat there. I do have to distance 6 tfachim only. But I don't need this giant gap, 16 tfachim, 16 amas. I don't need that. 6 tfachim. That's it. Reb Shimon Omer enoi kerem. Forget about it. You can plant whatever you want. V'chacham orim kerem. V'roynes emtzayim kilu einam. So at the last minute I did this real quickly. You see these X's? Chacham say we just view this halachically, the blue lines. And these 2 reds are gone halachically. And that gives us a nice gap, a theoretical halachic gap for my tractor to go by there. But the question is that according to Reb Shimon, this comes out a big kula. Because he's saying that if there's no 4 amos, then it's not a kerem. But if you're using a 6 tefach ruler, then it comes out I have more tefachim to consider it, a non-kerem. And I can plant whatever I want. Planting whatever I want is a kula. Says the Gemara, Kirabanan, Damri have a kerem. He must go according to Rabbanan. This doesn't go according to Reb Shimon, this goes according to Rabbanan that it is a kerem. By same answers we had before. Loilam Reb Shimon, V'roiv Amos Kamar. We'll stop over here. That what? 2 out of the 3 halachas when it comes to kerem use the 6 tfachim. That's why we're saying kerem is 6. The other one, you're right, we'll use a 5 tefach ruler, and that will be the chumrah for that case. Have a wonderful Geshmaka day. שמחה סליחו למען תברך מצד הנגשון להמשיך לדבר יכולתי בשביל הדינוי כל ישראל הדינוי כמעט דמי החס והבימי קדוש והוא יבדע את ישראל מכל אבל נשמח חלק ובסיסון לצום את זה בשביל יצאים מסור לדבר ומפעיל Hashto. Yishkoyach, Rabboisa, Yishkoyach. Thank you, thank you. Yishkoyach, Yishkoyach. You guys can talk. It's Beseder. I allow it. Joel, how you doing from California? Joel Pollack, how's it going? You still writing? You have a lot to write for, no? There's a lot going on. Hashem Yirachem. What do you think? It's going to be good or no? It's going to be good. You got to think good. Yoel Bergman, I don't hear anybody. Is it me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I hear Avi. Yeah, I do hear you.
The problem is, whoever does the unmuting doesn't do it properly. You have to allow the participants to unmute. To Whoever is controlling the Zoom has to allow the participants to unmute themselves.
Oh, he knows how to do it. Trust me.
If they say no, it means they can't unmute themselves afterwards.
Rabbi say, don't forget that by the Siyum, we're going to have MC. It's going to be MC by Reb Nachman Seltzer. It's going to be amazing. Ari Rosenstein, Yishkoyach for coming again. Stick it out, stick it out. Second day in a row, back from his hiatus of Masechta Shabbos. Baruch Hashem. Shkoyach. Okay, the oil is very quiet today. I'm turning this thing off.